family?
I'm good. Family's great. How's the self-proclaimed biggest instigator in boxing? Big fight on Saturday.
Yep.
Jaime Munguia versus Derevyanchenko at 168. Mike, how's the weight? Do you think the weight's gonna come into play come fight time?
I think both of them be, healthy and comfortable, and because they know their body, they know themselves, they train, they know how to react to certain things. I don't think that's going to be an issue at all.
Yeah.
I think the talent and the lack of on either end that doesn't capitalize on it is going to be the biggest problem. So I don't think weight has anything to do with it.
Yeah, what kind of fight do you expect? Derevyanchenko has boatloads of experience. He's gone the distance with guys like Gennady Golovkin,
Yes.
Jamal Charlo, Daniel Jacobs.
I believe he's going to see if Munguia really is the real deal. Early, but not recklessly. And I think that as the fight gets down to the middle rounds, where Munguia is going to have to bite down, I think this is really biggest test.
Just in terms of the fight going the distance, would you like to see that from Munguia, just to dominate the whole fight, or maybe be able to show some new wrinkles in those 12 rounds against a veteran like Derevyanchenko?
I'd rather Munguia, not only for this fight, Saturday on the Zone, but any fight that comes, end it when you can, and if you need time, take that time. I think that any fighter that goes out there and put all he can, but reserve himself mentally and physically, just in case it ain't the 5th round, it's the 8th round. He wants to be, or she wants to be in position to execute. So, the more rounds Munguia get in, I think it's going to prepare him for what's to come real soon in his, I would say, future.
Yeah, for sure. And also, what would a knockout over Derevyanchenko, would that speak volumes for you, considering the guys that he's fought in the past that couldn't get him out of there?
I don't think it shows people that he's the new, really not the new where he just came out of nowhere, but he's the new problem. That's the best way to put it. He's the new problem in that weight division. Because that weight division is, of course, loaded with names and talent. But if that can be pulled off and executed, yeah, he's the new problem.
At 168.
At 168.
Yeah, and what is it going to take to get, obviously, the top guy in that division? I guess it would be Canelo and then David Benavidez. What would it take to get one of those names in there with Munguia? I know you guys have tried very hard to get the big names at 160, but at 168, if it turns out to be a great performance and a permanent move from Munguia, what would it take for you guys to secure a big name from Munguia?
I think the big name, if you leave the two guys you just mentioned, of course, Canelo and Benavidez, I'll say a talent that's dangerous is close to those two champions you just mentioned, and he's successful. So I see this fight, see what he does. Second fight, even a little bit more dangerous and higher, then yeah, he can knock on anybody's door. He can knock on anybody's door. And one of the reasons I said that, because I believe the more consistency and the fighting in a timely fashion for Munguia helps him than actually having, 6 months, 5 months, or anything longer to have him sit idle. I think when you have a young fighter as Munguia, and there's a few other fighters out there, even Kid Austin, those type of athletes, you gotta keep a schedule, and no injuries and nothing that delay it that they can't control. Then I say get them in there and then hit for the home run, and that is a world championship. Munguia will be world champion very, very soon.
I could ask you about the sparring between Oscar De La Hoya and Ryan Garcia on Twitter. What's your take on the situation, man? Can you shed any light on that for us and where Golden Boy's at in terms of moving?
Yeah, I just told Oscar to duck. Just make sure you duck. You gotta keep ducking. You gotta keep ducking. Look, they'll work things out, which is 9 out of 10 already, like, talked about and respected. But it's still been something and things said that that I don't like, because I know for a fact that I was there in his dressing room talking to Ryan when he apologized to me, and I said, you don't have to apologize to me after the fight. And knowing that Oscar got death threats, I seen the text from Oscar, security and Oscar. I wasn't allowed in the ring. I got that on video on this phone when they stopped me. But I ain't make a stink of it because it ain't my night. It was Ryan Garcia's night. So for me to make a stink of it, it would be very selfish of me to do that.
Yeah, for sure.
And so, to hear Ryan's comments about Golden Boy wasn't there to represent him, they were there. Just me and Oscar wasn't there for good reasons. But I was there to greet him after the fights in the dressing room.
Cool, Bernard.
And I have video of that.
Cool, Bernard. I'll let you get the press conference.